Commander Olivia Wright rubbed her tired eyes as she stared at the computer screen. For 8 hours straight, she had been looking at data from the space agency's long-range scanners. Nothing unusual had appeared all day. Just the normal background. Noise of the universe, stars burning, planets moving, space dust floating. The same things the scanners always picked up. She reached for her coffee mug and frowned when she found it empty. It was almost time for her shift to end anyway. Olivia stood up and stretched her arms above her head. That was when it happened. Every screen in the monitoring room suddenly went black. Then they all lit up at once with the same message. A strange sound came through all the speakers. It was a voice, but not like any human voice Olivia had ever heard. It sounded almost musical, with tones that seemed to overlap each other. To the inhabitants of the third planet of star Sol 3728, you have been designated for Imperial acquisition. The galactic hegemony claims this system by right of expansion. You have one standard rotation of your planet to surrender or be eradicated. This is the only warning you will receive. The message played once. Then the screens returned to normal. The room was completely silent. No one moved. No one spoke. Olivia looked around at the faces of her team. They all showed the same thing: shock and fear. "Did we record that?" she finally asked, her voice shaking. Greg Martinez, her second in command, nodded slowly. "Yes, it came through all channels. We have it saved automatically." "Call the director," Olivia said. "Now." Within an hour, the highest levels of government had the recording. Within 3 hours, the United Nations Security Council was meeting in emergency session. Within a day, despite efforts to keep it secret, the message had leaked to the public. The world changed in that moment. Humanity was not alone in the universe, and our first visitors wanted to take our planet. Jack Nelson was not supposed to be important. He was just a communications specialist at NASA's Deep Space Monitoring Facility in New Mexico. His job was to analyze signal patterns from space. Most days, that meant looking at lots of static and noise. He was good at finding patterns where others saw nothing. 3 days after the alien message, Jack was still reviewing it. While everyone else focused on the words, Jack studied the carrier wave itself, the signal that brought the message to Earth. He noticed something strange. Hidden beneath the voice was another layer of data. "Sir, I think you need to see this," Jack said, calling his supervisor over to his workstation. Dr. Frank Roberts leaned over Jack's shoulder, squinting at the screen. "What am I looking at, Nelson?" "The alien transmission wasn't just a voice message," Jack explained. "There's complex data embedded in the carrier wave. Look at these patterns." He pointed to a series of peaks and valleys on the display. "This isn't random, this is structured information." Dr. Roberts frowned. "Can you extract it?" Jack nodded. "I already started. It's mathematical, very advanced, but I think it's some kind of specifications." "Specifications for what?" "I'm not sure yet, but whatever it is, they wanted us to find it. They hid it in the message, but not so well that we couldn't discover it if we looked carefully." Within hours, Jack found himself explaining his discovery to a room full of scientists and military officials. His hands trembled as he showed his findings on a large screen. "The mathematical sequence contains what appears to be blueprints," he said, "for a device of some kind. It's far beyond our current technology, but the basic principles seem clear enough that we might be able to build it, given time and resources." "A weapon?" asked General Diana Peters, leaning forward with interest. Jack shook his head. "I don't think so. It appears to be a communication device, something that could transmit signals much farther than anything we currently have." "Why would they give us that?" someone asked from the back of the room. No one had an answer. The next few weeks passed in a blur of activity. The world's governments, for once united by a common threat, poured resources into understanding the alien blueprints. Jack worked alongside the brightest minds on Earth, trying to make sense of the alien mathematics. Dr. Samantha Cole, a brilliant physicist from MIT, led the team trying to build the device. She had a way of explaining complex ideas that even non-scientists could understand. Jack liked working with her because she never made him feel stupid when he asked questions. "The way I see it," she told Jack one evening as they looked over the latest simulations, "either this is a trap or someone in the galactic hegemony is trying to help us." "You think someone sent us a secret message?" Jack asked. Samantha nodded. "The hegemony gave us one warning. Just one. They don't expect us to fight back. They don't expect us to have any way to respond. But what if someone, maybe from inside their empire, maybe from somewhere else, wanted to give us a chance?" It made sense to Jack. The specifications hidden in the message were for a device that could send signals through what the scientists were calling subspace, a theoretical medium that allowed faster-than-light communication. If Earth could build it in time, they might be able to call for help. As days turned into weeks, the device slowly took shape in a heavily guarded facility. Meanwhile, the world prepared for the worst. Militaries mobilized, people built shelters. Some prayed, others partied like it was the end of the world, which it might well be. Olivia Wright, now working directly with the United Nations Space Defense Council, received daily reports on strange objects approaching the solar system. The hegemony ships were coming, just as they had promised. 57 days after the warning, Samantha's team completed the device. It looked surprisingly simple. A metal sphere about the size of a beach ball, covered in a network of fine wires and small crystals. "Will it work?" Olivia asked, looking at the device with a mixture of hope and doubt. Samantha ran her hand through her short brown hair, a gesture she made when she was thinking. "Theoretically, yes, but we have no way to test it. We don't even know exactly what it's supposed to do." "Who are we calling for help?" Jack asked. "Anyone who might listen," Samantha replied. "The specifications included what we think are coordinates, locations in space where the signal will be directed. If there are other civilizations out there that oppose the hegemony, this might reach them." It wasn't much of a plan, but it was the only one they had. Earth had received one warning. Now they would send out a call of their own. The device was transported to a remote location in the Chilean desert, far from any major population center. If it was a trap, if it would explode or create some kind of portal for invasion, at least, the damage would be limited. As the activation time approached, Jack found himself standing next to Olivia in the control room a safe distance away. On screens before them, they could see the device sitting on a simple metal platform in the desert. "Do you think anyone will answer?" he asked quietly. Olivia looked at him, her face showing the strain of the past 2 months. "I don't know. But I'm not ready to surrender our world without trying everything possible." She nodded to the technician. "Activate the device." The world held its breath and waited for an answer from the stars. Nothing happened when they turned on the device. The small metal sphere sat on its platform in the Chilean desert, quietly humming. No explosion, no flash of light, no sign that it was doing anything at all. "Are we sure it's working?" "General," Peters asked, her voice tight with tension. Dr. Samantha Cole checked the readings on her tablet. "Power is flowing through it. The internal components are active. It's doing something, but I can't tell you exactly what." For 3 days, they watched and waited. Scientists took turns monitoring the device around the clock. Military satellites kept watch for any sign of the approaching hegemony ships. The world held its breath. Jack Nelson barely slept during those 3 days. When he wasn't at the control center, he was reviewing the alien data again and again, looking for anything they might have missed. There had to be more. There had to be some clue about what they were supposed to do next. On the morning of the 4th day, as the sun rose over the Atacama Desert, Olivia Wright was drinking her 3rd cup of coffee when all the alarms went off, at once. "Multiple objects entering the solar system," called out one of the radar technicians. "Massive energy readings." Everyone rushed to their stations. On the main screen, they could see the data from Earth's most powerful space telescopes. 5 large objects were moving toward Earth at incredible speed. "The hegemony?" Olivia asked, her heart pounding. "I don't think so," said Greg Martinez, studying the data. "The energy signature doesn't match what our scientists predicted based on the warning message." and there are only 5 of them. Intelligence suggested the hegemony would send a much larger force. As the objects came closer, more details became clear. They were ships, but unlike any human designers had ever imagined. They looked almost like sea creatures with smooth, flowing lines instead of the hard edges humans associated with spacecraft. They glowed with soft blue light. "They're slowing down," Greg reported, "taking up positions around Earth, one in orbit over each continent." "Any hostile actions?" General Peters demanded. "None, ma'am. They're just waiting." Then a new message came through, broadcasting on the same frequencies as the device they had built. The voice was different from the hegemony warning, softer, with a rhythm that reminded Jack of waves on a beach. "People of Earth, we are the Coalition of Free Worlds. Your call for help has been received. The hegemony's claim on your system violates the ancient laws. We stand with you against imperial conquest." A cheer went up in the control room. People hugged each other. Some cried with relief. Jack found himself being embraced by Samantha, both of them laughing through tears. But Olivia remained serious. "Let's not celebrate yet," she said, raising her voice above the noise. "We don't know who these beings are or if we can trust them, and the hegemony is still coming." She was right to be cautious. 12 hours later, the hegemony arrived. Their ships were nothing like the Coalition vessels. Where the Coalition ships were smooth and organic, the hegemony vessels were sharp and angular, bristling with what looked like weapons. They were much larger, too. The smallest hegemony ship was twice the size of the largest Coalition vessel. The hegemony ships formed a ring around Earth, outside the positions taken by the Coalition. For a tense hour, nothing happened. Then a formal communication channel opened. In a specially prepared room at the United Nations headquarters, representatives from Earth's major nations gathered to speak with both alien groups. Jack and Samantha were there as technical advisors, while Olivia represented the space agency. The hegemony spoke first. Their representative appeared on a large screen, and everyone in the room gasped. The alien was roughly humanoid, with 2 arms, 2 legs, and a head. But that's where the similarity to humans ended. Its skin was pale green and seemed to shimmer like fish scales. It had no visible nose, just small breathing slits. Its eyes were large and completely black, with no whites or visible pupils. "I am Expansion Director Vexnar of the Galactic Hegemony," it said. Its mouth didn't match the words. The translation must be happening electronically. "Your planet has been claimed for Imperial expansion. Your presence here is noted and will be processed according to standard protocols." The alien spoke as if Earth were an empty planet, as if humans were just an inconvenience to be dealt with. A second screen lit up, showing the Coalition representative. This being looked even less human than the hegemony alien. It appeared to be made of something like blue crystal, with light moving through its body in complex patterns. "I am Ambassador Lith of the Coalition of Free Worlds," it said, its voice melodic and soothing. "The hegemony's claim is invalid under the Treaty of 7 Suns. Earth is an emergent civilization with rights to self-determination." The hegemony representative made a sharp gesture with one hand. "The treaty does not apply to this sector. This system was charted by hegemony scouts 300 cycles ago. Our claim predates any coalition interest." "Charts alone do not constitute a claim," Ambassador Lith replied calmly. "The coalition recognizes Earth's independent status and offers protection." For an hour, the 2 aliens argued while the humans watched in silence. They spoke of treaties and laws and historical precedents that no one on Earth understood. It became clear that this was not just about Earth. It was part of a much larger conflict between 2 powerful groups of spacefaring civilizations. Finally, the hegemony representative turned its attention to the humans. "Your species has potential for service to the hegemony. Surrender now and 20% of your population will be preserved as a worker caste. Resist, and all will be eliminated." The room erupted in angry shouts. General Peters stood up, her face red with fury. "We will never surrender our world." The hegemony representative seemed unmoved by the outburst. "Your cooperation is preferred but not required. You have 1 Earth day to reconsider before we begin the clearing process." The screen went dark. Ambassador Lith of the Coalition remained. "We apologize for bringing our conflict to your doorstep. The hegemony has been expanding aggressively for centuries, absorbing or destroying thousands of worlds. We have fought them where we could, but we are outnumbered." "Then why help us?" Olivia asked. "If you're already losing, why risk more ships for Earth?" The crystalline being seemed to pulse with brighter light. "Because every free world matters. Because your people solved the subspace communication puzzle in just 2 months, something that shows remarkable potential. And because if we do not stand together against the hegemony, eventually there will be no free worlds left." As the Coalition ambassador spoke, Jack realized something important. Earth was no longer alone in the universe, but we were now caught in the middle of a war that had been raging across the stars long before humans even existed. The battle for Earth was about to begin. Earth had less than 1 day to prepare for the fight of its existence. Military leaders from around the world gathered in an underground bunker beneath the Rocky Mountains. The Coalition had sent a representative to help them plan. The alien called itself Mira and looked almost like a tall, thin human, except for its blue skin and silver eyes. It explained that it was wearing a form that would make humans comfortable. "The hegemony ships are powerful," Mira told the room full of generals and admirals. "They have weapons that can crack your planet's crust, but they prefer to preserve worlds they conquer, so they will try to disable our ships first." "What can we do to help?" asked General Peters. "Your weapons cannot harm their vessels," Mira said gently. "But you can help evacuate your coastal cities. When the battle begins, the oceans may become unstable." Olivia Wright worked with world leaders to organize the largest evacuation in human history. Millions of people moved inland from coastal areas. It was chaos, but it was better than the alternative. Jack Nelson and Samantha Cole were assigned to work directly with the Coalition scientists. They boarded one of the alien ships in orbit around Earth. Jack's stomach flipped as the transport beam carried him up from the planet's surface. It felt like riding the world's fastest elevator. Inside of the Coalition ship was strange but beautiful. The walls glowed with soft light and the air smelled like flowers. Alien crew members nodded politely as Mira led Jack and Samantha to what they called the strategy chamber. "We need to understand how your communication device works," said a Coalition officer named Kale. Unlike Mira, Kale had chosen to keep its natural form, a being that looked like it was made of golden smoke contained within a transparent shell. "We didn't really build it," Jack admitted. "We just followed the blueprints hidden in the hegemony warning message." Kale's form rippled with what might have been surprise. "The plans came from the hegemony?" "Yes," Samantha explained. "Hidden in their warning transmission." The Coalition aliens looked at each other in what seemed like silent communication. Finally, Mira spoke. "This changes things. Someone within the hegemony must be working against their own empire. This could be very valuable information." They spent hours analyzing the device's specifications. Jack was amazed at how quickly the Coalition scientists understood Earth technology. They explained that the device didn't just send a message. It opened a direct subspace channel to specific coordinates. "Whoever sent you these plans knew exactly where to find Coalition outposts," Kale said. "This was not random." As they worked, alarms suddenly blared throughout the ship. Mira's body tensed. "It's starting," they said. "The hegemony is moving into attack position." Jack and Samantha were rushed to an observation room where they could see what was happening. Earth looked beautiful and peaceful from orbit, a blue marble wrapped in white clouds. Around it, the 5 Coalition ships moved into defensive positions. Hegemony fleet was spreading out. There were 12 of their ships, each one larger than anything humans had ever built. Their dark, angular shapes looked like weapons themselves. "They're powering up their main systems," reported a Coalition officer. On a large screen they could see a human face, Captain Laura Simmons of the newly formed Earth Defense Force. She had been chosen to coordinate with the Coalition during the battle. "All Earth military forces are standing by," she reported. "Though I'm not sure what good we'll do." "Keep your aircraft grounded," Mira advised. "The energy discharges from our weapons could interfere with their systems. Focus on protecting your people on the ground." The first attack came without warning. One of the hegemony ships fired what looked like a beam of liquid light at the nearest coalition vessel. The coalition ship's outer layer seemed to absorb the energy, glowing brighter and brighter until Jack had to shield his eyes. Direct hit. On shield layer 3, someone reported calmly. Redistributing energy to defensive arrays. The coalition ships responded with weapons of their own. They fired what looked like balls of blue lightning that moved in impossible patterns, curving and splitting as they approached the hegemony vessels. "What are those?" Samantha asked, pointing at the strange weapons. "Quantum disruption spheres," Cale explained. "They target the atomic bonds in the hegemony's hull material." The battle quickly spread throughout Earth's orbit. Jack couldn't follow everything that was happening. The ships moved faster than seemed possible, sometimes appearing to be in multiple places at once. "They're using space-folding technology," Mira explained, noticing Jack's confusion. "Moving through higher dimensions to cover distance more quickly." One of the hegemony beams missed its target and struck Earth's upper atmosphere. A bright flash lit up the sky over the Pacific Ocean, and massive waves spread outward from the impact point. "Hawaii and the West Coast will see tsunami conditions," reported Captain Simmons. "Evacuation is proceeding." The coalition ships fought bravely, but they were outnumbered. 2 hours into the battle, one of their vessels was badly damaged, its blue glow flickering like a dying light bulb. "We cannot maintain this defensive position," Mira said grimly. "We need to change strategy." That was when something unexpected happened. One of the hegemony ships suddenly turned and fired on another hegemony vessel. The attacked ship seemed caught by surprise and took heavy damage before it could respond. "What's happening?" Jack asked, staring at the screen in confusion. Cale's smoky form swirled faster. "It appears we have an ally within the hegemony fleet, the same one who sent you the plans, perhaps." The battle became even more chaotic. Now the hegemony ships were fighting each other as well as the coalition. Taking advantage of the confusion, the coalition vessels regrouped and launched a coordinated attack on the largest hegemony ship. "That's their command vessel," Mira explained. "If we can disable it, the others might retreat." Multiple quantum disruption spheres hit the hegemony command ship simultaneously. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then cracks appeared in its dark hull, spreading like spider webs across its surface. The ship began to break apart, pieces drifting away into space. The remaining hegemony vessels immediately changed formation. 3 of them jumped away, disappearing in flashes of green light. The others continued fighting, but with less coordination than before. The friendly hegemony ship, if that's what it was, moved closer to the coalition vessels, taking a defensive position alongside them. It broadcast a message on an open channel. "This is Commander Vril of the Free Hegemony Resistance. We stand with Earth and the Coalition against Imperial tyranny." A cheer went up from the Coalition crew. Jack and Samantha looked at each other in amazement. The battle wasn't over, but for the first time since the warning message arrived, they felt real hope. Earth might survive after all. The battle for Earth continued for 3 more days. The remaining hegemony ships fought fiercely, but without their command vessel, they could not coordinate their attacks as effectively. The coalition ships, together with Commander Vril's rebel hegemony vessel, slowly gained the upper hand. Jack Nelson and Samantha Cole remained aboard the coalition flagship, helping to analyze data and provide information about Earth. They watched, in awe, as the alien ships performed maneuvers that seemed to defy the laws of physics. "How do they move like that?" Jack asked, as one coalition ship appeared to split into 3 images before reuniting. "Dimensional shifting," explained Cale, the golden smoke alien. "They are partially moving into another dimension where our physical laws work differently." From their vantage point in orbit, they could see the effects of the battle on Earth below. Parts of the Pacific Ocean glowed with strange energy. The northern lights were visible all the way to the equator, as particles from the space battle interacted with Earth's magnetic field. On the 3rd day, something incredible happened. A hegemony weapon missed its target and struck Jupiter instead. The massive gas giant's atmosphere ignited, creating what looked like a second sun in the solar system. The light was so bright that night turned to day on Earth for several hours before the reaction burned itself out. "Will Jupiter be okay?" Samantha asked, worried about the long-term effects on the solar system. Mira nodded. The gas will settle back to normal in a few days, but its orbit may be slightly altered. By the end of the third day, only 2 hegemony ships remained, surrounded by the Coalition fleet and Commander Vril's vessel. They had been driven to the outer edge of the solar system, near Pluto. They're preparing to jump away, reported a Coalition officer, studying the energy readings from the enemy ships. Should we try to stop them? Asked Captain Simmons from the Earth Defense Force Command Center. Mira shook its blue head. No. Let them go. They will carry word back to the hegemony that Earth is not an easy target. That is a victory for us, Theo. Hegemony ships disappeared in flashes of green light, retreating from the solar system. A cheer went up from both the Coalition crew and the humans watching from Earth. The battle was over. Earth had survived, but the story was not finished. Commander Vril requested permission to dock with the Coalition flagship. Jack and Samantha were invited to attend the meeting between the Coalition leaders and the hegemony rebel. Commander Vril was very different from the expansion director they had seen earlier. While both had the same green shimmering skin and black eyes, Vril's face showed more expression. It also wore what looked like a uniform decorated with symbols that might have been military rank. I thank you for accepting my aid, Vril said, bowing slightly to the Coalition representatives, and I apologize for not revealing myself sooner. You sent the blueprints in the warning message, Jack said, suddenly understanding. You wanted us to call the Coalition for help. Vril turned to look at him. Yes, human. I have been working against the hegemony's expansion policies for many years. Too many worlds have been destroyed or enslaved in the name of imperial growth. Why Earth? Samantha asked. Why did you choose to help us specifically? Your world was next on the hegemony's list, Vril explained, and my position gave me access to the warning transmission. I took a chance that your species might be intelligent enough to find and understand the hidden message. Mira stepped forward. Commander Vril has been providing intelligence to the Coalition for some time, but this is the first time a hegemony ship has openly fought against the Empire. There are others who think as I do, Vril said. The free hegemony resistance grows stronger each cycle. This victory will inspire more to join our cause. Over the next few days, delegations from Earth met with both the Coalition and Commander Vril. There was much to discuss about Earth's new place in the galactic community. Olivia Wright was chosen to lead the human diplomatic team. She had proven herself during the crisis, coordinating global efforts and working effectively with the alien allies. What happens now? She asked during a meeting in the United Nations building in New York. Representatives from the Coalition and Commander Vril sat across from Earth's leaders. The hegemony will not give up so easily, Vril warned. They will return, perhaps not immediately, but eventually. They do not tolerate defeat. Earth needs to prepare, agreed Mira. The Coalition can offer assistance, technology, knowledge, training. And in return? Asked Olivia, always practical. What does the Coalition want from Earth? An ally, said Kale, its smoky form rippling. Another free world standing against hegemony expansion. Your species has shown remarkable adaptability and courage. The human leaders discussed the offer, among themselves. Some were eager to accept any help from the advanced aliens. Others were more cautious, worried about becoming dependent on alien technology. Jack found himself in a small garden outside the UN building, taking a break from the intense discussions. Samantha joined him, sitting on a bench beside a small fountain. Everything's changed, she said quietly. 2 months ago we thought we were alone in the universe. Now we're negotiating with multiple alien civilizations. Jack nodded. And we've been pulled into a galactic war we didn't even know was happening. Do you think we made the right choice? Samantha asked. Calling for help? Fighting back? Before Jack could answer, they were joined by Commander Vril. The hegemony rebel moved, awkwardly on Earth, not quite used to the planet's gravity. You had no choice, Vril said, apparently having overheard their conversation. The hegemony would have destroyed your civilization regardless. At least this way, you had a chance to fight. And we won, Jack pointed out. This battle, Vril corrected. Not the war. The real fight is just beginning. Samantha looked up at the blue sky, now peaceful again. Will Earth ever be safe? No world is truly safe, Vril said. But together we are stronger than alone. The Coalition, the Free Hegemony Resistance, and now Earth. We stand against the Empire's expansion. Later that day, the Earth leaders reached a decision. They would accept the Coalition's offer of assistance, but with conditions to protect Earth's independence. A new organization was formed, the Earth Space Defense Force, with Captain Laura Simmons as its first commander. Scientists from around the world would work with Coalition experts to understand alien technology. Defensive systems would be built to protect Earth from future attacks, and specially selected humans would train to serve aboard Coalition ships, learning about life among the stars. The universe was a more dangerous place than humans had imagined. But it was also filled with wonders beyond their dreams, and allies willing to stand beside them against the darkness. 6 months passed since the battle for Earth. The planet had changed in ways no one could have imagined before the hegemony's warning arrived. Humans were no longer alone in the universe, and they were quickly learning how to be part of a much larger community of worlds. The Coalition established a base in Antarctica, far from major population centers. They chose this location to minimize their impact on human society, while still providing easy access for the scientists and diplomats who worked with them. The base was a marvel of alien technology, with buildings that seemed to grow from the ice itself, glowing with soft blue light that never dimmed. Jack Nelson had been offered a position as a communications specialist at the Antarctic base. He worked directly with Coalition scientists, helping to improve Earth's ability to detect and understand signals from space. His apartment in the base had a large window overlooking an ice field that stretched to the horizon. Sometimes at night, he would stare up at the stars and think about how different they looked to him now. Samantha Cole led a team of physicists studying Coalition technology. They were especially interested in the dimensional shifting abilities that allowed their ships to move in ways that seemed impossible. The work was challenging but exciting. Each day brought new discoveries that changed their understanding of the universe. The key is thinking beyond three-dimensional space, she explained to a group of new scientists joining her team. The universe has at least 11 dimensions, and the Coalition has learned to manipulate several of them. Olivia Wright had been appointed as Earth's first ambassador to the Galactic Coalition. She spent most of her time traveling between Earth and Coalition worlds, learning about alien cultures and politics. It was exhausting work, but she knew it was important. Earth needed strong relationships with its new allies if it was going to survive in a dangerous galaxy. Today, all three friends were back at the Antarctic base for an important event. The first Earth ship capable of interstellar travel was ready for its maiden voyage. It had been built using a combination of human engineering and Coalition technology. The ship was named the Unity, symbolizing the partnership between Earth and its alien allies. Captain John Rogers would command the Unity on its first mission. He was a former Navy officer who had shown a natural talent for understanding alien technology. His crew included both humans and a few Coalition advisors who would help them navigate unfamiliar space. "Are you nervous?" Jack asked the captain, as they toured the ship one last time before launch. John smiled. "Terrified, but also more excited than I've ever been. We're going to see things no human has ever seen before." The Unity looked nothing like the spaceships humans had imagined in their science fiction stories. It was smooth and rounded with no visible engines or weapons. Its hull was made of a material that could change color to absorb or reflect energy as needed. Inside, the control systems were a blend of familiar human interfaces and the more advanced Coalition technology. Commander Vril had also come to witness the launch. The Hegemony Rebel had become an important ally to Earth, providing valuable information about hegemony tactics and technology. Today, Vril wore a special environmental suit that allowed it to move comfortably in Earth's gravity and atmosphere. "Your progress is impressive," Vril told Olivia as they watched final preparations for the launch. "Most species take decades to achieve what humans have done in months. We had good teachers, Olivia replied, and a strong motivation. Nothing pushes innovation like survival. The launch ceremony was broadcast around the world. Billions of humans watched as the Unity rose silently from its dock in Antarctica. There was no fire or smoke like the old rocket launches. The ship simply lifted, surrounded by a faint blue glow, and then accelerated upward until it was just a dot in the sky, and then nothing at all. The Unity will reach the Coalition homeworld in approximately 14 Earth days, explained Mira, who had become the official Coalition representative to Earth. This is the beginning of a new era for your species. But not everyone on Earth welcomed these changes. In many places, protests had erupted against the alien presence. Some people feared losing human independence or culture. Others worried that Earth was being drawn into a war that wasn't their fight. Small but vocal groups called for breaking ties with the Coalition and trying to remain neutral in the galactic conflict. We should focus on our own problems, argued Senator William Grant during a heated United Nations debate. Climate change, poverty, disease, these issues haven't disappeared just because aliens showed up. And how will those problems matter if the hegemony returns and destroys our planet? Countered Olivia. We need these allies. We need this technology. The debate continued in governments around the world, but for most people, the immediate benefits of alien technology were too great to ignore. Coalition medical knowledge had already led to treatments for several previously incurable diseases. Their clean energy systems were helping to address climate change, and their defensive technology provided security against both hegemony threats and natural disasters. 3. Weeks after the Unity's departure, Earth received its first transmission from a truly distant world. Captain Rogers's face appeared on screens around the planet, smiling broadly. Greetings from the Coalition Central World, he said. Our journey was successful. The Unity performed perfectly. We are currently in orbit around a planet that makes Earth look like a small town. The buildings here reach almost into space. The technology is beyond anything we could have imagined. He paused, looking thoughtful. But the most important thing I've learned is that despite all their advancement, the Coalition needs us just as much as we need them. They value Earth's creativity, our different way of thinking. Apparently, we've already suggested solutions to problems they've been working on for years. That night, Jack, Samantha, and Olivia gathered in a small room at the Antarctic base to celebrate. They opened a bottle of champagne they had been saving for a special occasion. To Captain Rogers and the Unity, Jack said, raising his glass. To new friends among the stars, added Samantha. And to Earth, Olivia finished. The planet that received one warning and turned it into an opportunity. As they drank, a soft alarm sounded. Jack checked his communication device and his eyes widened. Long-range sensors are picking up unusual activity at the edge of the solar system, he said. Multiple ships appearing. They rushed to the command center. On the main screen, they could see the readings from Earth's new detection grid. At least 20 ships had appeared near Pluto's orbit. Hegemony? Samantha asked, her voice tense. Mira studied the data and shook its head. No, the energy signatures are different. These are ships from the Coalition's other allies. They've come to help fortify Earth's defenses. Vril stepped forward, its black eyes reflecting the light from the screens. The hegemony will return eventually, they always do. But when they come, they will not find the same Earth they left. They will find a world ready to defend itself, and a world with powerful friends. Olivia looked at the display showing ships from a dozen different alien civilizations approaching Earth with offers of help and friendship. The warning that was meant to frighten humanity into submission had instead brought them into a community of free worlds. Earth had been targeted by the Galactic Empire, and just one warning was issued. But it was the last warning Earth would ever need.